Hello, my name is Opal Singleton. I am the president and CEO of Million Kids, an organization dedicated to keeping kids safe from predators. And this is called an Insider Alert. Actually, this is an update of two, maybe even three cases that came together in an interesting way. And I want to tell you the rest of the story. You can subscribe to Insider Alert by going to Million Kids. Million Kids serves as the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. But this particular cases that we're going to talk about are really all about what we call child sexual abuse material, sometimes called CSAM, or in the old days we called it child pornography. This is an insider alert. Insider alerts are created so that we can give you the latest breaking news, and this is breaking news. Also, all about new technology that's out there, or maybe a case analysis. But this is fascinating because this is like where three cases that we've done an insider alert on are coming together, and it is an update. So it's breaking news. Originally, the case started with a case of the arrest of a gentleman named Charles Orange out of Texas. And he was part of a global international ring. And we brought that to you. It was called Operation Blackwrist. And what had happened in Operation Blackwrist is that basically it started in 2017 with the discovery of some sexual abuse material. We call that child pornography, of 11 boys. And these were boys that were between around the ages of 13 years old. And what had happened is that they had discovered this ring out of actually out of Australia and also Bangkok, and then also in Belgium before it was over. Or no, I'm wrong on that. Bulgaria. My apologies to Belgium. Anyway, and at the time they had determined there were about 63,000 users as part of a dark web ring. And as they were doing this, what had happened is that these people, these 63,000 people, would often take a photo of a naked child or them molesting a child and send it in to the site administrator. That's how this works. I'm going to share with you about the dark web, but you cannot just get into the dark web. You need a special browser called a Tor, the Youngin router, and also you need specific IP addresses. The dark web is quite a bit different than the internet that we use, in that in the dark web you need that specific address. Excuse me, they don't have search engines per se. So these 63,000 people would violate a child, take a photograph of them violating a child, and send it in to the site administrator in the dark web. And they would have various levels of security to be able to verify. They even have special administrators that verify that this isn't Photoshop. And that was what was going on in this ring, is that they were part of that ring. This operation was called Operation Blackwrist because in this, one of the victims wore a bracelet that they used to try to identify who the other victims were. Well, today we have breaking news that just came out called Operation Casting Call. And you will see that these two cases are interconnected. So I wanted to give you an update. In this update that they're talking about, they had an arrest at a Thailand modeling agency. And this man that run this, what they would do was go out into the schools. And in order to, violate the kids, you've got to get past the parents and you've got to get past the teachers. And they would go out into the schools and start to talk about that these young men could be part of a modeling agency. Well, as it turns out, Blackwrist, Operation Blackwrist, and Operation Calling Car began to intercept. And this is a massive undertaking. These are just some of the officers to give you an idea of how big this case is. Keep in mind that this tracks back to our Charles Orange out of Houston. By the way, he is pleading not guilty, so we're sticking with alleged at this point in his case. Charles Orange was 55 years old and he lived in Longview, Texas. And he is found guilty. If he's found guilty, he could face 10 to 20 years in prison. But I want you to see from this slide just how big this investigation is. These take years to prosecute and find all of the people that are in it. So this started out in Thailand, but it also works its way over to Bulgaria and also over to Australia, where they're all coming together to see what happened. In this case, the Thai court sentenced one of the perpetrators that they found in Operation Blackwrist to 146 years in Thailand. So this is coming now, all new arrests and all new cases that we're starting to see. So the first one had a large number of perpetrators, okay, 56,000 or something like that. Now they're trying to find the individual victims. And one of the things they did was they realized that one of the perpetrators had a tattoo. And they began to trace that back, and that brought them to this modeling agency. When they went into the modeling agency, they began to find all kinds of kids' toys, kids' photographs, electronic devices, cartoon drawings used to groom the victim. By the way, keep in mind, many of these boys are early teens and probably played in video games. I'll just throw this out to you because animated video game character pornography is one of the fastest growing segments of Pornhub, which we have done another Inside Alert on. So these two cases came together. According to China News Agency, the members of the group approached the children and shared information and also images of each other. So what is happening is you have satellite child pornographers. For instance, you have this modeling agency that's going into schools, convincing parents that their son ought to be a model, and they are feeding a lot of this information out there. But then you also have the 56,000 child pornographers that are exchanging photographs that they take, they are doing to qualify. This is a massive undertaking over 60 different countries. If you want to know how it leads back to somebody like potentially Charles Orange, if he is found guilty, we don't know yet. But what happens here is that these people are meeting in the clear web. They find each other. They start to exchange photos. They start to qualify for multiple levels to make sure that this is not law enforcement getting involved here. And so that means that literally thousands and thousands of children were violated for this. I wanted to point out that there is a independent nonprofit called Operation Underground Railroad. They are based in the US, but they do this kind of child sex trafficking rescues and investigations all over the world, out of Haiti, out of Thailand, out of Cambodia. So this is going to be ongoing for quite a long time. But I wanted to bring it home to you because this week we did a Million Kids Insider Alert about U.S. Special Agent, FBI agent, David Alphen, and he was murdered as he was shot as he was delivering a warrant for an arrest of a child pornographer here in the US. I give credit to David because David is one of the people that led the ability to crack these rings back in 2015. He was part of a team that was participating in Operation Playpen. And in that, they were able to go in and arrest that site administrator and then be able to take them in and they held him away, and they actually operated a ring for about 2 weeks. I don't normally recommend that. I don't like that idea because they're in fact breaking the law. But that was, at that point, nobody knew how big these were. We're thinking maybe a few little sites with a few people. No, if you followed my work, you know that out of South Korea, Welcome to Video had 1 million paying members. They were using Bitcoin and they were paid subscription. 1 million people, okay, paying a subscription for child pornography. And we now know that thanks to the work of David Alphen and his teammates on Playpen. He is a true hero. What I want you to see here is that these guys are meeting in the surface web, they exchange IP addresses, and they go to the dark web, and they go through virtual, many levels of virtual private network. Now, because law enforcement's getting good at penetrating the dark web, what you're seeing is a lot of people taking off for bulletproof hosting. In other words, these sites are leaving the dark web because FBI and law enforcement agencies are penetrating it, and they're going into bulletproof hosting. This is literally offshore hosting with many levels of encryption on it. So it's very difficult to penetrate unless you know it. So this has been a Million Kids Insider Alert, an update, if you will, and the one that we did previously with Charles Orange, the alleged child pornographer out of Longview, Texas, down by Houston. And these people are able to be caught because once law enforcement finds these rings hiding in the dark web, they run the IP addresses, they get the information, they follow the lead, trying to find the victim and rescue the victim, and also go out and get the perpetrator. So this has been another Million Kids Insider Alert. We're sending you to these right now just because you're on our mailing list. But in the future, this will be a subscription-based only, and I hope it's been helpful. It's meant to keep you up to date on the latest cases after you've initially been trained. So just go to Insider Alert or go to millionkids.org and sign up. If you know someone who might be a victim of child pornography, or in fact is a child pornographer, this is how you report it, and you can report it anonymously. My name is Opal Singleton. This is Million Kids. I hope you follow us on Facebook. It's IE Million Kids on Facebook now. You can write to me at opal@Million Kids and let me know if this is helpful, or you can make comments on it if you want to do that right there on our site. Well, until next time, stay tuned. Say hello and love your kids. Tell them you're proud of them. Put your arms around your family and let them know how much you appreciate them. That is the key to keeping your kids safe from predators. See you next time.